This is everybody's day. This is everybody's day. I've shared here that on my street, one church, one praying church was upstairs, was downstairs. A brothel was upstairs in Lagos. You might say everybody got their own rent, but they say that our prayers used to go up. It means that their prayers used to pass through a brothel. Corruption will have entered it if it's true that it goes straight up. Abi, because they tell us our praises did not pass the roof. The roof of that church is a brothel. There's no fine person in that house. You know those women that have been into prostitution for years. Sin creates old aging. But men will come with shiny vehicles, bankers will drive down a road on the last day of the month and waste their month spendings on women that are not attractive. A spirit was involved. Our liberation was 4 brothers from Daystar who understood what territorial movements are. It was one evening. They held hands in front of the church, spoke in tongues almost like 3 hours. And they left. The following week, the landlord came and drove the brothel and the church out same day. People now said they want late church. Church you call. It's not a church. You can be sentimental and say it's individual rent. How were they comfortable? What presence were they bringing that sin was striving overhead? They are preaching. Somebody sleeping with somebody. May you not experience it. You know, we travel, we sleep in many places. That's why we used to carry MP3 player and earphone. Sila. May you not experience it. Sometimes it's very bad. And you need sanctity. Thank God some of us are even married. We need to call our wives and be chatting with them that time. It restores your health. You can't study. There are times that when I hear the door of the room open, I want to see who are these people sent to afflict us. How much more a permanent thing? In prayers, a local assembly is supposed to, within the context of their prayers, bring petitions before God on behalf of the territory. Lord, there is something happening in Olukoko that I believe you are not happy about. Do something about it. There is an event that has been happening. And Lord, the people are crying out. You are like Moses in the area. The people will cry out to Moses' hearing. And then you will release it. How many of us are bothered to pray as regards the suffering in this city? Raise your hand. I now understand why I didn't just come to pray straight. Because somebody is bothered that, do we need this much to pray for promotion? The average person is not bothered. There's a place I used to buy bread. There's a woman that is there. She marks that bread joint permanently. So once you buy and she eyes that they are giving you change, she will approach unto you. These days, because it has become common, sometimes I don't even have change. When I'm going to buy bread, I keep our own money in my pocket. Mama, she has found a location like unto the beautiful gate to mark. She believes that people come to buy bread there. It means that there's still something they are eating. Somebody walked up to me, a full-blooded man. Ejo, if me 20 naira, give it a gari. Do you know what they call the male ego? When you see an adult man begging, if he's not mad, because mental illness is calm, he will have spent all of his options before he can condescend to say a job. Does he drive you to pray? That God should be intentional about our nation. Currently, Nigeria lacks numbers as praying men. We pray towards an election. Things went the other way, and we have stopped praying. People are suffering. If things continue this way, by next session, secondary, primary school, many students will move to public schools. If things continue the same way. If these things continue the same way, vices may increase in the nation. The dollar today exchanged in Ogbomoso at 1,035. Yesterday I was calling the guy. I like to make findings like that. I believe that provision is coming, so I must be aware. If somebody calls you from the UK now and say, how much is the pound? You say you don't know. By the time you go to check and you come back, the thing may have lifted off his mind. 1,035 in Ogbomoso, it means it must be about 1,045, 150 in Lagos. And it's affecting everything. Petitions and intercessions. In that house, the husband and the wife, they are always fighting. Lord, can you bring help? That's the role. That's the role of the local assembly. Ye are the light of the world. You are the direction. You are the safety, because light is direction, light is safety. Light is navigation. Right? Light is order. What else is light? Light is actually life. That's what Jesus gave to territory. So the local assembly is a gift to the territory. A gift of covering in watchings, in prayers, in intercessions, and on a fourth expression, in warnings. Somebody say warnings. We may not have fully taken advantage of it, but the local assembly is gifted a privilege by God to peep into God's warnings for cities and to announce them. There is a prophetic shape to the local assembly when it comes to the warnings of God. There's also the promise side, where God can raise us to say, by this time next month, the bad roads in Ogbomoso will have been, because our roads are becoming very bad. The holes are no longer deep. They are very deep. If you drop a tire into it, your tire may be gone. You don't want to change tires now, especially if you are driving Mr. Taiwo's kind of car. Our own tire is small. That his own tire is big. Can you buy 2,000 naira fuel into your car? So when you ask God for big, please ask for maintenance money. May God grant you wisdom. Warnings. The local assembly has vocal prophetic expressions. It's within the context of these expressions that God has revealed to many of us that there's danger coming. What we have found out is that this invasion is physical in expression, but it was stewarded by spiritual men. That gives the church an advantage. If it was purely a physical thing, we still have an advantage. But because the motivation is spiritual, it is believed in spiritual circles that there were omissions because of the religious in ritual expressions, because of the religious bias of the king. That in certain things in which he was supposed to take sides with darkness, he decided to take sides with the Christ. So there are gaps. If you watch Yoruba films, they used to call something Alalele. You know it. It's like the ancestors, the spirits of the ancestors. They are rough. And certain men have picked up their fight in darkness to ensure that the reign of the king does not bring the respite that people had in view in the day they welcomed him. Is he up to a month now? Just about a month. We still have hopes. We don't want to be in Ogbomoso 10 years' time and still be hopeful. Alongside the prophecies that brought him to the throne were prophecies of development, were prophecies of economic growth, were prophecies of improved social expressions. We know that the capacity is there. Because what God gave us as a king is one that is highly connected. He has the best of friends that can turn around the fortunes of any city. The best of friends. But 1 month has almost passed. I know at the end of this month there will be a football match between Crown FC and Agility something. I don't know. Maybe it's Bombers or Raiders. They shouldn't even use those names, because use Bombers and Raiders. It's not. Maybe Agility Stars in honor of the king. How long do we want the expressions to only be in honor of the king? The man in Abuja said, day 1, get down, running. Right. Day 2, keep running. Day 3, no rest. And you see, the nation followed that pattern, because by day 3, there was no rest. I'm saying this thing very lightly, but I'm saying that it doesn't take long for the hopes of a people to be dashed. There were companies, abandoned, that were beginning to wear a new look because of hope. Oh, in that one will employ 1,800 skilled men. It's been painted, but it's there. And if you paint a building and don't use it for long, it will go back to its old state. There are signs that a new day has come that we expect to have started seeing in 1 month. I am that ready to see a change in this city. We are not seeing them. Would we celebrate 1 year on the throne, still expecting? If he came out of the wombs of prayer, would the heathen not say, where is our God? Maybe they said he's one of us. And not just one of us, that he was anointed within the ecclesiastical order. Maybe they said he's a pastor. The church needs to rise to understand that God was staked to bring that man to the throne, and the body of Christ was staked. Beyond the king, we need to pray for Ogbomoso. We were a city designed in strength, a city of many colors, but our sun has not risen for many years. I'm not from here, but I can't be here and not be burdened about here. Our sun has not risen for many years. If you go into the diaspora, you find out that Ogbomoso has serious sons. Those who can pull strings to better her lot. But it's like our sons have taken a posture of strangeness to the city. If they can't come, maybe someone was trying to invest down the road there and was abducted, murdered. in a city that was erstwhile peaceful. People have tried to start businesses, but it's so easy to start here and fold up. I don't know that verse in English, but I know we used to use it to pray in Yoruba church. Wani tedo iluna o dara. Ṣùgbọ́n omi bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe kíní kan. Ilẹ̀ ṣá omi sì korò. Help me find that verse in the Bible. The setting of that city, of the city, is in beauty. But the land is barren and the water is bitter. I know you have asked God to bless you. Are you in school now? What level? If this land does not find recovery, it means that the blessing may start manifesting when you graduate. Are you with me? Because one of the coordinates that give expression to the blessing is the land. Abi? Help me look for that verse, then we join in prayers. Help me. Our time has gone. And the men of the city said to the king, is that what you see there? Who did they go to? Elijah was the face of the ecclesia. He was the face of those who had a relationship with God strong enough to back change. It's not everybody in the city that can bring transformation. And the men of the city said unto Elisha, we meet them in the bank. We meet them on the street. They say, Pastor, sometimes I take bikes, and on the bikes they will say, sir, be praying for the city. We're trying to do some stuff towards the ark yesterday, and the security man in one of the banks came to me and said, sir, anytime you come here, don't line up again. You are the ones praying for the city. You are a dignitary. Now I was in my round neck and my combat trousers. They said, no, don't. He now called somebody at the counter. Say, you see, anytime you see pastor coming, answer him. Don't keep him on the line. We are the ones praying for the city, but the city is still like that. Me, I'm tired. I want to see change. And the men of the city said unto Elisha, behold, I pray thee. The situation of this city is pleasant. That word situation has to do with its geographical positioning. That if you behold the city, it's like a city balanced on a hill. Air travel makes you see the beauty of cities. If you are coming from the north and you are coming to Ilorin, the golden attraction in Ilorin is Central Mosque. There's a way that mosque shines. You know it has a gold-plated dome. It shines. Then you can now use that location to now mark out other locations. When you see the CNS church at Muritala Muhammad, from the air too, you see how beautifully it's set. Then you understand that the architects who planned cities were masters of geometry. There are really no scattered cities. Yes. Even if you are flying Lagos to Ilorin, by the time you get to Ogbomoso, you'll have come down a little. So you can see the ground. You see how well arranged the city is. And you will have thought that it was that prosperous. This story is also the story of Ilorin. We rarely fly now. Any plane coming to Ilorin, and you see it filled up. Because it's largely a window-dressed city. You must cry. The city cannot cry because there's no relationship. The church has a position of favor with God, and in this day that the city needs liberation, that position of favor must become a currency or procurement. What can our favor with God buy for Ogbomoso? That's the burden tonight. What can our proximity to God? We just prayed into deeper dimensions of the presence of God.